Hey, so I just came off of a podcast interview, so you're gonna have to bear with me as we transition. I am so excited to be doing another live mindset coaching thing. Thanks, see, I've lost my words because I've been talking so much. I have an amazing client who has just really killed it on my program, and I am so excited for her and I to talk. We're just going to do this like we would a normal one-on-one session, and we hope that you get value from this and that you can get started on your own journey. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, share, give me a good review, all the things, because I am on a mission to empower as many people as possible to be radically transformed into the person that God created them to be. So let's bring Ashley on. Hey, Ashley.
Hey, how are you?
I know it's like an hour later there. So thank you
Yeah,
for your
you're welcome.
patience. And thank you for getting on, because normally I go to bed at like 8 o'clock. So yeah, thank you for the sacrifice.
Absolutely.
We're having to make sure that we're okay. I think I got it. All right. Okay. Let's do a quick check-in.
Okay.
It's been a couple weeks since we've talked. Where are you at? Well, let's do a little housekeeping. If there's any questions on this, is what we normally do. If there's any questions on your mind, because you like to plan, and I love you always have really good questions, and I love that you are a rule follower. So is there anything on your heart that you like are dying to get off your chest that you need help with?
No, I was just gonna say we talked about managing nutrition the last time,
Mhm.
and I think that's really I think we shifted a little bit on how or when I was gonna do the whey protein based on doing a
Yes.
fasting, which was what I had done before when I was running before your program. I would fast and run, and I just was never one to eat first thing in the morning. So I am doing that based on our last conversation, and that seems to be working well.
Yeah, because I told you, I was like, I don't think there's a one size fits all approach. And if you can run and do that, there are benefits to doing fasting workouts.
Right.
And I know, you know, I am real big on, eat to control your blood sugar, but some people like can work out on an empty stomach, and it's okay because your body's going to dip into its fat stores for fuel. Um,
And I think I actually prefer it because I'm just never been one. I've run a couple of half marathons in the last couple of years, and they tell you to do all this. I cannot even eat during a run like that. I mean, I would do the gummies and things like that, but so it's normal for me. So I'm glad that I reshifted, because originally I was trying to get something down to work out, and I work out first thing early in the morning, and I couldn't do it. It was
yeah.
like too much.
Okay. So and we also talked about you running when you weren't meeting people. How is that going?
Well, so actually, my group that I run with has kind of gotten back on board. So since we talked, we've run consistently 3 days a week, which is good. And then I've run twice by myself, but yeah. So since we've talked the last couple of weeks, I've at least gotten 3 consistent 3 mile, 3.5 mile days in, including the workout on top of that. So
Yay! I
yeah,
love
and
it.
actually, believe it or not, I see a pretty big difference too. I'm seeing a difference in the scales. So I think that the running was something I had done a lot of and had got kind of backed off. And so I think it's just me needing that particular kind of cardio intertwined with the weights as well.
Yeah, and that's what I told you. Like, if your body's used to that, then it's like, do it.
Yeah.
You can do my workout and do cardio too. I want to hear more about the changes that you've seen.
I mean, I think I had kind of fluctuated up in weight, which I mean, I never did weigh myself every single day after losing a good bit of weight, but um I tried to spread it out, but I've noticed that it stayed consistent. there's been a consistency instead of having some like, kind of ups and downs. So it's been pretty consistent the last couple of weeks. So that tells me that what we're doing is kind of like balancing.
So when are you doing your protein?
So I work out first thing in the morning and then do immediately a whey protein shake. Well, first, let me back up. So the first thing I do is when I get up is I drink a whole 16.9 bottle of electrolytes. So I do that like immediately. And then work out. And then I drink a whey protein shake with water. And then I actually go do barn chores and then come back and I actually do like, a small, not a big breakfast, but a small, like a high protein, and do my electrolyte. I'm sorry, my, yes, I do the Do Fit. I love the pina colada. It's so freaking good. It's like, it says it's like gluten free. I don't know, like vegan. I don't know.
Yeah, there no artificial sweeteners, all of them.
It's really good. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Before we got together, like you weren't doing enough electrolytes.
No, not at all.
Yeah, game changer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing right after working out.
The scale.
Yep.
Are you, and we talked about this before, are you good with just staying steady, or do you still want to lose? What's going on with your head with that?
I think I'm fine.
Yeah.
I personally, probably my biggest challenge is all my clothes fit. Okay. So that's a big deal, but my jeans are tighter now. That's going to be the case, I mean, and I'm finally kind of getting through that.
You know what? I think in my experience though, like when you get to a place of acceptance and you know that you're doing all the things, just trusting the process and not obsessing about that number, then kind of magical things just kind of start happening.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think that when you stress, mind is the biggest muscle you have. I mean, I've learned that from you. I've learned that just in a lot of life lessons in the last couple of years. But if your mind is in a deficit, I mean, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And I truly believe like it prevents you from losing weight with the increased cortisol. And like it's crazy. Whenever I stopped trying, and I've shared this with you before, on my sobriety journey, like I was just doing all the things, and then all of a sudden I weighed one day and I was like, oh, I lost 10 pounds. But that was not my focus at all.
It's funny you say that. So I was I'm 5. I mean, for everybody out there, because I mean, I think it's relevant to help. So I mean, I'm 5'4", and I was staying consistent for 3.5 years. I lost 70 pounds and was staying consistent at, I don't know, 138 to 142. And that was a happy place, and I stayed there. So after doing let's see. And so the program is, well, I'm on week 11. So that's 22 weeks, right?
Oh, you're on workout 11.
I'm on workout 11. So times 2, that's 22 weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So in 22 weeks, I've only gone up as high as 148, but I'm staying like a 144, 145. And actually, I weighed this week and I was 143. So that's right. Exactly. So that's kind of
a win. That's a huge win.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I still, again, I can fit in everything that I fit in. So that's my measurable. Well, I mean, there's one pair of jeans I can't. That's okay. I mean, one out of, whatever. So, so anyway, those things are telltale things to say, okay, you're all right.
Well, and I asked you too, I was like, well, would you be okay with the weight just staying the same? Because let's be real, you travel a lot and you have an amazing life. Like you do. Like you
well,
have
let me just tell you.
like,
I decided
you're living life. Like you
yes.
don't have to, like, do you want to deprive yourself for that last 5 pounds? Do you, like, that's the choice you're gonna have to make.
Well,
Do you and you were like, I think I'm okay with where I am to have the best of both worlds.
Right, right. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not going to go off the, the wagon, and I mean, I've changed my habits. I've changed how I look at food. I've changed my whole aspect of that. So, I mean, I'm past that, but I think, that's in my mind that's like a hard buckle down, but I don't know that, in other words, I'm getting comfortable at the weight that's showing on the scales, and I've never cared about weight on scales until the last several years, and I think I've pushed through, mentally pushed through that finally. But yeah, no, I mean, I decided that life is short, and I am gonna go and do, and not gonna let anything hold me back.
Well, and I think that's what this journey is about. Like, how healthy mind, healthy body, and I don't want you to feel deprived
No,
and like I want you to love the new you. I want you to want to work out. I want you to want to eat healthy, but I still want you to be able to enjoy yourself. I mean, so it's a balance,
right.
right? And you're pretty much at your goal is my whole point. And if you decided that you wanted to drop some weight, you know what to do.
Oh
It
yeah,
would just mean you would have to cut back on some things.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah. So anyway, that piece of it's good. But yeah, I mean, the the thing about it is traveling, you can make it. I know people like say all the time to me, well, I don't have time and I don't have time. I thought that was going to be me. I mean, if I told you about my day to day, you'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
So
what
I
yeah,
pack,
how do you
I,
make it work with how
I
busy you are?
right. I pack it in and I make it work. So that's, if I can do it, you can do it. At the end of the day, it's one of those things. You just have to set your mind that, your goal is to do X, Y, and Z. And even though you have a million other things to do, if you think ahead, which is probably key, I mean, that has probably been the biggest thing for me, is thinking ahead, thinking the next week. I mean, I'm already in the next week. I'm like, okay, what am I doing next week so that I can figure out whatever. So, and that's just how I am.
Um, have you always been a planner like that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. My question to you is like, what's the drive behind making it work and not using all the travel that you do and the long hours? What's the drive behind, I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it work and I'm not going to use that as an excuse? Has,
Right.
is that something new or have you always had that?
So I've always had that whole planning goal type mentality, but what I decided with this was for true story. This was for me. This was 150% something for me to be successful at myself. So yes and no. I mean, yes, I am that way naturally, but I mean, I had to really buckle down, and I'm going to tell you why. I have never worked out on my own. Like, I mean, literally I mean, well, you're helping me, but you're not standing in front of me.
No, I'm not. I have to trust you to do it. That's what's so unique about this
Right.
program is like I write these workouts, but you have to do them on your own.
Correct. And that, for me, being a person that's always hired a personal trainer,
Mhm.
or, you know, even way back in a gym setting, had a partner or somebody to follow. So, I'm in the past, I've always been a sight person. Like, you show me how to do it and I'm gonna do it. I don't want to think, like, the whole thinking part. So the challenge for me with your program was I had
Mhm.
to think
Mhm.
about it. And I had to make, that was a huge hurdle for me, was be like, okay, Ashley, you can do this. You've got the tools. She's given you the tools. You just have to be accountable to yourself to get it done. You don't have a partner. You don't have a trainer waiting at you for 6 o'clock in the morning for your lesson or your session or whatever.
Yeah,
So, I
that's
mean,
huge. I
it
mean,
is huge.
I want to congratulate you for that because you came in this with a mindset of like, I'm going all in. I'm going to give this everything. I'm going to make it work. And you've done exactly everything I've suggested. And um, I know I want to kind of pretend like it's just me and you, but I also want to address people listening. she reaches out to me before I'm supposed to send her workout, because she's like, I need my new workout. I know, I need you to send it to me early because I'm planning for this trip. And she like reaches you, and that's freaking awesome, because I know you're serious when you're like, okay, next workout, I'm ready. I mean, that's a big deal. But what
Yeah.
I see is like you've become addicted to the process and you've built confidence. Like, you have to have more confidence knowing that you're pushing yourself.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you're exactly right. I'm already thinking, okay, well, I'm going on this trip. I'm going to need what tools or what weights or what things am I going to need? And I mean, even my horse trailer, well, and I sell horse trailers for a living, and they have living quarters set like a camper in the front.
But you're working out in a horse trailer.
Yeah. So I'm going to give y'all a funny story because it's freaking awesome. So I was camping, and I had several, like, I'm going to call them campers for y'all because horse trailers is kind of weird. So we're all like kind of beside each other in the campground. It was like at dusk, it was probably 6 o'clock. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get my workout done. So I did my workout that particular week, had jumping jacks or something, whatever. So I go through this whole thing, and I come out of come out of my camper, and there's an older lady that we ride, and she was sitting over there drinking her coffee, and I went over there and sat down, and she said, um, Ashley, what have you been doing? Because Mitchell's not here. That's my husband. Mitchell's not here, and your trailer is rocking. Like the whole thing is like rock. She's like, I'm not asking. And I go, I was doing jumping jacks. And she's like, okay. She's like, because the whole freaking trailer was like rocking. So it's kind of comical because I was working out, but so it's
Yeah,
fun.
but now people, are they expecting it? Are they like, have you inspired anybody to start
Yeah,
working out?
I have. I actually have several people have reached out, asked questions, and then my sister's one, which is pretty cool. I have a younger sister, and not the working out, but the getting healthy and kind of trying to really start focusing on some positive things for herself. And she was here last weekend, and we went walking. So it's pretty cool.
I mean, it is cool when you can be a living example for someone. It makes you want to keep going,
Oh,
knowing that you're inspiring others. Um, Chandrea, I'm excited that you bought my book. And Ashley never reads, and she read my book.
well, I was gonna say that was like on a list of things to do, and I read your book at the beach from front to back. My husband was like, "You did what?"
Like, you don't read books. But
No, I don't
it's
read.
an easy read. So I am very grateful, and I hope it blesses everyone that reads it. Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So since you've started, and I mean, you started with me, but really you started with my group, the A team, because we all support each other. What mindset shifts have you experienced? I know a lot of the things we just talked about, like you have drive, determination, you're a planner, but is there anything in particular that has shifted that you
Yeah.
weren't doing before?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things for me, I kind of, again, as we talk about, I set goals. Positivity has been a big thing that I wanted to focus on. Just every day. And so getting involved in your group first right out the gate, the wins that you do
Mhm.
puts you in a mindset of thinking of things that are great, instead of being wrapped up in, oh, this was terrible today. You come home and ask your significant other, how was your day? And it's like, well, this was bad, and this was bad, and this was bad. Well, it puts you in that kind of a frame of mind that no, everything's not so bad. I mean, and I think your platform, starting right out with the A team, how we immediately did the wins, and how the whole paragraph thing. And I'm gonna break it down and be real. So
Yeah.
do I just told you I didn't read. So do you think I write?
Right?
No.
Okay. Yeah. What's
So,
happening with the paragraph?
right. So that is here. That is right here. And
Mm.
so every day I run through it in my mind, which I think is a way to do it as well, because
Yeah.
that means that my mind, I'm saying all those things over and over again, in adding in. Maybe I don't have it written down in a book.
But so did you had to memorize it. So then you memorized it.
Mhm.
Right. In my book, I give instructions on how to write what we call it's like a declaration paragraph, and it's creating a new narrative. So creating a new mantra, new tapes in your head. So instead of saying negative things or self sabotaging things, we shift into like what we want to become, who we want to be, all the positives and different mantras. And so in the very beginning, I have my people write their paragraph. And you wrote yours like you did everything I asked you to. So you memorized it. Do you have a certain time of day that it's scheduled where you go through it in your head? Is it
It's usually during my workout,
okay?
honestly.
Good. Well, as
Because I
long as
mean,
it's scheduled, like it's a
mhm.
part of your routine,
Yep,
I think
it's
that's
every
totally fine.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, it's working.
I think,
So
but
I have to write mine, and I've also, yeah, but I think if you can make that work,
mhm.
and that's really cool that you're disciplined enough to go over it in your head at a certain time.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And a lot of
Because I mean, if you think about it, that time is quiet for me. Now, everyone does their workouts different. I don't want to be bothered. And I'm that kind of person with working out, with learning something. Like I want to just focus. Like that's what I'm there to do. Like if I would go to a gym, I didn't socialize at a gym.
mm-mm,
No, absolutely not. I'm there for a reason. When I run, actually with the ladies I run with, 90% of the time I'm very quiet and I listen to them talk the whole time because I'm there to get what I need done. So
mhm.
now, don't get me wrong, talking and running is good cardiovascularly, um, but my thing is during that time frame, I'm not going to take a phone call. I'm not going to do a text, like all those things. So that's why it seems to work for me.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
that
that.
time that time that's just kind of quiet or whatever. But just to circle back to your question in regards to is the positive outlook and the group calls that we do. I mean, it's always positive and everyone's, it's always that kind of feeling. And I think in life as well as in the world we are in today, the more positive things that we can have constantly happening, the better.
Yeah, and it's not like, well, the thing is you had to engage and participate in the community to receive that. And for me, I'm going to be honest, like I was not a group person until I created this group. It's different.
Hmm.
Um, Not saying that we don't talk about struggles because I want everybody to like feel like it's a safe place to share struggles, but we're solution based.
Right, right. How to work through those
Yeah.
struggles and
I'm
make it
struggling,
positive.
but this is how we're going to overcome. Like, what's the solution? I love that because you always add so much value and we try to cheer each other on. Um, is there anything that you're struggling with?
Um, no, no.
You're like, y'all, normally she's got a few things.
I'm in a good spot. I'm in a
Thank
good spot
you.
right now. Yeah, I'm in a good spot right now. I can't think of anything specifically.
Are you still logging your food?
I am.
Okay.
Yep. And I think that, those of you out there that, dabble with that and maybe if you lock and barrel that, it really helps. It really helps for you to really realize like what you're putting in your mouth, how it's affecting you each day. You can kind of measure it that way. And, it also, because your exercise is inputted in there as well. I mean, there are different apps, different things, but for the most part, it's going to put in your calories burned. And then, to me, that's helpful because I'm like, okay, well, I just burned, 500 calories. And so I'm kind of looking at anyway, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Well, and the key is logging it even when it's not healthy. Are
Oh
you
yeah,
aware of
that's fun.
that?
Yeah, yeah. When I put chocolate chip pancakes in there, which is something I like. Yeah, it's not good, but it's there.
Well, yeah, and the whole thing is the goal is to empower you and educate you and like it's knowledge, right? I always say like we need some data. like, what's the data? And a lot of times, and I mean, I used to be guilty of this. Like, I would log all the way up until 3 o'clock. And then when I decided to drink the wine or eat something unhealthy for dinner, then I would stop and I would just guess, oh, that's probably 1,000 calories. And I'd like do like a guesstimate. And then I was like 50 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is there any part of the workouts that you haven't been able to do, or how are you doing with with increasing your resistance, all that, and challenging yourself? What's going on with that?
So anytime, like, it's funny, and I mean, you won't think different from this, but anytime you say like, try for 20. Oh hell, I do 20 in the beginning. I'm like, oh no, I can do it. On the step ups we're doing right now, you're like, take go your half your toe. The goal is to get your knee all the way up. Oh, I got my knee all the way up. I mean, so I'm always, when there's, I guess, the easy button, but we want to, but I'd like you to do this. I usually try to go ahead and go to that. If you're like, do 10, but I'd really like you to work up to 20.
Yeah.
I'm already at the 20.
21. Do 21. One more. Do one more.
Yeah. So, and I try to challenge myself that way when you say that. And I do yoga a lot. Of course, I don't do it this time of year. I'll pick that back up in the winter months, but you'll go in a yoga class and they'll say, no, you can do this, or you can add this for more difficulty. Well, I'm that person, I'm like, okay, well, let's see if I can add that in. And
More difficult.
let me see if I can do that. So I'm always challenging myself with the workouts, probably. So yeah. Yep.
You're extremely busy and you own a very successful business.
Mm-hmm.
And you could easily probably stay busy 24/7.
Yes, I could.
How do you get past pressing pause on work to do the self-care, like doing your workout and pausing to log your food or listen to a podcast? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to lose the business, or I can't. And I could get trapped in that too. How did you get past okay, the world's not going to fall apart if I take care of, do you see where I'm kind of going with that?
I do. And that's probably the whole boundaries thing that we talk about. That, you talk about, you got to set boundaries for yourself. That's probably the hardest thing for a business owner, to do. And, I've challenged myself to do that, not only for myself, but my husband. It's not fair to him. It's, so those were challenges that I was already on that path that I wanted to go that direction. And then your program just kind of like tied it in, because we talk about a lot of times about, you got to set boundaries and you need to put your phone down, all the things that you do as challenges and exercises, like that really makes you think to really try to work on those things. So
we don't realize that the things that we're doing are sabotaging ourselves and our health goals, because we're giving so much to all the things on the outside, and then eventually you crash.
Correct.
Yeah, the business is still going to be there if you take an hour to work out.
Yeah, and I've realized that, my thing is time management. And that's key. I mean, time management. You just, I know we've talked on calls a lot here lately about people getting up really, really early, and that's not something, I know you do that. It's something that my thing is it's done. I know that sounds crazy, but it's done. And I have the whole rest of the day, because if I find that, well, I don't do this, but if I were to say, oh, I'll work out in the evening when I get home, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is like tonight's a perfect example. I'm taking some riding lessons and doing some cattle work. And so I was gone with my truck and trailer, with the horse gone. And I was on my way back at I don't know, 6:30. I'm like, holy crap. I've got all the horses to feed, everybody to feed here, get the dogs fed and get settled for this. So, it's just that time management is key. Absolutely key.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing you say is you don't lie to yourself. You're not in denial. You're real with yourself and you don't BS yourself.
And that, you know what? That's how I am with everybody. I mean, I'm like that with my customers. I'm like that with anybody that I meet. I mean, there's no coating. There's no unicorns and rainbows. I mean,
Yeah.
I,
Let's be real.
yeah. And so you're right. I think I definitely hold myself accountable. I'll give you an example. Like this morning, I'm gonna be completely truthful here because this is like all candid. So this morning I ran. Okay,
Uh-huh.
we ran this morning. Okay, when I find, and this would be something I need to ask you about. I find when I get to the end of the week, if I've done the workout and run, because I've just started doubling that up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this morning, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was tired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you've talked about you need to listen to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this morning we ran at 4:45 this morning. When I got back, I normally work out right after running. I just
Uh-huh.
come straight in and lift. This morning, I put my earbuds in. I came in the basement. I picked up the weights. I
Mm-hmm.
did one set, and I was like, I am exhausted.
Yeah.
I I don't want to hurt myself. B, I don't. You know what? I just need a moment. And this is the first time, Tiffany, I've done this in 22 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Weeks. I was like, I need to just go lay down. And I came upstairs and I literally went back. I laid on the couch and I went to sleep for an hour. Got up, went to feed the horses, and went about my day. And
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm gonna feel bad about this. I'm gonna be really mad at
I was
myself.
about I was about to ask you that. Are you shaming
I,
yourself?
I'm not, because
Mm-hmm.
my body said, Ashley,
Mm-hmm.
you need the rest.
Mm-hmm.
You need the rest. The last 2 nights, the dogs have gotten me up the last 2 nights, and I had not slept good the last 2 nights, and so I just think it was all just wrapped up. And here we are going into, well, tomorrow's Friday, so I'm running the end of the week, and so I just think I've run 2 other days this week and walked, so I've done a lot this week. On top of I've ridden, and the riding that I do is strenuous. I mean, like posting, which I know
Red legs.
horse
Yeah.
you horse people are like, what? You non-horse people are like, what? But basically, my watch is saying, are you running? Okay, so that it's the motion is the same motion as running. So
Mm-hmm.
I've done legs this week a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it hit me running, riding, and then lifting hit me this morning, Thursday morning, like a brick, ton of bricks.
Okay, so what's your question?
So my question is, that would, based on what I think I've heard you say, listen to your body. You personally and your wins,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line. And I did this on a live when I had to walk away from my run this week. I shared live that I went to run bleachers. I got less than 2 miles in. Normally I run 8, and I did the same thing you did. I was like, I'm done. I have to. I don't want to overtrain. I don't want to hurt myself. The fine line comes in with, if you're new to the journey and you don't have self-discipline yet, you can easily trick yourself into thinking, oh, well, I'm hurt. I don't need to work
You're
out.
right.
I don't think everybody can trust themselves to do that. Now, you have proven to yourself that you don't lie to yourself. You're not lazy. You go above and beyond with pushing yourself. That's where you are in this journey.
Right.
And what happens is, if you don't take those breaks every now and then, you could hurt yourself. You could overtrain, and that could increase cortisol, which then could make the scale go up. And then it can make you more tired. And then it's just like a vicious cycle. And on my live, I said, I think deep down, the difference is if you're trying to like cut yourself short and be lazy or make excuses, or if you truly need a break. And
Right.
me looking at you, you're at a place in your journey where I believe that you can trust yourself.
I think so, because like I said, I mean, for me to literally put down a set of weights and be like, I just got to go lay down,
And you fell asleep.
I was out.
Then that means your body needed it. And here's what happens too, is as I found, if I can get past the stubbornness of like stopping in the middle of a workout or not doing it, because then you can I feel like a failure, because then we associate our self-worth with that. I get a really good workout the next day.
Yeah.
Or like my body does some changing if I take a couple of days off. I'm like, oh,
Right.
it needed it. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, and for me and those of you out there, I've done this program religiously. There might have been a week I might have done 4 just because of travel, but I have literally stuck
Yeah.
with 4 to 5 every week for 22 weeks.
Even traveling, even going on like vacation travel. Not, I
Correct.
mean, yeah,
Correct.
everywhere. That's what I'm saying. Like you're at a place in your journey. If you're feeling that way, then there's a reason you feel that way, and that means
Okay.
you need to listen.
Okay.
Now, if you're new and starting with me, I might not tell you that. I might say you probably need to push through, because that's the old you fighting yourself, wanting to give you an excuse to stop.
Right.
But I think you're past that.
Right. Right. And there may be somebody out there that's in this kind of a position, you know, or both. I mean, both.
Where it's hard. Like, I mean, it was really hard for me to walk away and be like, okay, I'm not going to see that calorie burn on my watch, because, and then I have to check myself and be like, I'm in a
Well,
slippery slope of attaching my self-worth to the outcome.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and I also knew that I was riding this afternoon too. So I was like, well, at least I'm going to be doing something else activity wise today. It's not like, but you're right. I mean, you don't see those extra calories on there.
Yeah.
On your accountability. So anyway, I mean, this is something that came up for me that's not come up, and it happened to be this morning. So I was like, well,
so I do have like so your goal is 4 to 5, and really it's 5. So for me, mine's 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
On like a good week where I'm feeling 100%, I work out 6 days a week. And that gives me a window of, if I need to only do 5, like I'm good with that. I would never go under 4.
Gotcha. And I haven't gone under.
You know what I mean? Like have that baseline where, okay, no matter what, I'm not going to go under 4, because
And it's funny that you say that, because I think that, I mean, you just nailed exactly how my thought process has been. So like this week will be, I will get 4 if I don't, because I missed the 1.
Yeah. And then be okay with like, that's going to happen maybe once a month or every other month, and just be okay with that. I always ask you, what was the last thing you listened to? Personal development.
Well, actually, the Mel Robbins one, because we just did it for group, but just let it go. I mean,
Yeah.
I love. Do you know how many times I have said those words in my mind? Do you know how many times I've told friends, just let it go? I lived with a mother. I love her dearly, but she doesn't let things go. And I'm like, oh my God.
I don't want to be that
Now
way.
it's so funny, because I look back and I'm like, and I hear things now and I'm like, it's not important. Just let it go. So anyway, that one is always, 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 always stuck in my mind, because of how important it is that you don't have to be in control, and just sometimes just it's okay.
So you're listening on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Love that one.
that's important. Do you have something to listen to next? I've sent you a bunch. Have you listened to all of them?
I think I have listened to most all of them. Yes, I have. So I need new ones.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I'd like you to tell me, and I'll send you something new.
Yeah. Send me new ones.
So that's what I'm going to do for you. Do we want to set any goals for like between now and, let's say, next month?
Well, probably.
We'll see each other before then, but I want to do like a 1 month goal that's measurable.
Okay. Maybe well we talked about a little bit, and we touched on it, and I'm really wanting to try to pick up some miles a little bit. So my goal for the next month is to get like consistently maybe running 5.
What does consistently look? How many days a week?
Well, I need to, that's a building a little bit. So, well, at least long run a week.
Okay, I wanted it to be measurable.
Yeah, so at least start to get one long run done a week.
Starting next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely try to start it next week.
So for a long run for you, minimum 5. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's kind of my thing with bleachers. I do usually Saturday is my day I do my long,
Mm-hmm.
and my goal is 8, and at 8 miles, it's really hard. It's really hard for me to do that. But when I go during the week, I try to at least get 6. So same kind of, but there's that one long day that I'm like, okay, I'm at least gonna. So I think that's a really good goal.
Yeah,
And then,
it's one that's been in my mind for a while now. So it's definitely one that I want to do.
yeah, I would start it, and I would just be like, okay, on this day, I'm not stopping until I get 5,
Okay.
even if you have to walk. Just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's
as
absolutely
long as
nothing
it
wrong
takes.
with
Yeah.
nothing wrong with intervals.
No, that's what I do. And then for your weight, just you want maintenance,
Um,
143.
yeah, I mean, I'm actually all right with that right now.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I think that, like I said, I mean, I think that clothes are fitting good and transformation things are everything's moving around differently, so it's fitting.
Have
It's
you needed have you needed to buy heavier weights?
yeah.
I figured
Yeah.
it was probably time.
What?
I said I figured it was probably time.
Yeah, Mitchell actually went to he went to one of the places where he's working and he brought him home. So I went up. I've gone up for sure. And I actually the resistance band I always use the red one, the heavy
Yeah,
one.
and you can double those up too. Like
Yeah.
you can put and I didn't even realize that, to be honest with you, that you could double them up.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, so is there anything else I can do to serve you or help you?
I do not think so. Everything's good.
This is good. Okay, I'll send you some podcasts for sure.
Okay.
Thank you for doing this for me.
Yeah,
This is fun. This is really fun. I appreciate you. And don't you should have something already scheduled with me.
I do. I do.
And then we need to make up
did
the
that
other
too.
one. Yeah, and then make up the other one too, that from today.
Yep, no
Because
problem.
this doesn't count. Okay. All right. I'll let you go to bed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay. Thank y'all so much for watching and listening. And please help me share my mission by liking and sharing and subscribing to my YouTube channel, and check out my book, Wounded to Warrior: How to Participate in Your Own Rescue. It's pretty life-changing. It's my story, but I also share the tools that I use to get out of a victim mindset. So I want to encourage you to get that. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart. Good night. Like, share, and subscribe for the best in fitness and mindset coaching.